Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining us during the Lytham Partners Summer 2022 Investor Conference. My name is Adam Lowensteiner, Vice President of Lytham Partners. During this fireside chat, we welcome LiveWorld, ticker symbol of LVWD, that is Lima Victor Whiskey Delta on the OTC Pinks, and its founder, Chairman, and CEO Peter Friedman, and its CFO David Houston. Before we begin, for those not familiar, Lytham Partners is one of the country's leading investor relations firms. With more than 2 decades of corporate access experience, we have built one of the industry's most diverse and effective platforms for connecting small cap companies with high quality and focused institutional investors while creating a framework of best practices in all aspects of investor relations. Today's discussion is hopefully yet another example where we can bring value to multiple constituents. We will dive into the discussion in a moment, but one final item, I want to remind everybody that LiveWorld is available for one-on-one meetings later this week. If you have not already signed up, please send me an email at lowensteiner@lythampartners.com or visit www.lythampartners.com/virtual and click the one-on-one meeting request button. With that said, let's begin our discussion. Welcome, Peter and David.
Thanks for having us. We're very glad to be here.
Let's start, I always love starting with this question. Let's start with providing a brief overview of the company and your backgrounds.
Well, LiveWorld, the way to look at LiveWorld is we're a digital agency specializing in social media and technology solutions. Our key focus is creating emotional connections between our client brands and their customers to help those clients meet their business objectives, which are either marketing, customer service, or healthcare outcomes. And we work with Fortune 100 companies in a few market segments, but our primary focus is healthcare. I'm Peter Friedman, as you said. I'm the founder, chairman, and CEO of LiveWorld. And when I and my colleagues started LiveWorld 26 years ago, coming out of Apple, where I worked 12 years, I eventually became a senior executive in the company. I was the vice president and general manager of Apple's online division. David?
And I'm David Houston, LiveWorld's chief financial officer. Prior to joining LiveWorld almost 16 years ago, I was a senior financial executive at Excited Home, and before that, CKS Group, which was the first major interactive digital agency.
Thank you. Great. How has your industry evolved over the past few years, including during COVID? How's that affected your business?
Well, for a number of years now, we've seen a major shift in marketing budgets towards digital and even more so towards social media. We're seeing continued growth in the healthcare market to the point of it being over 20% of our US GDP, or over $4 trillion. The big opportunity that relates to us is the convergence of these two. Healthcare and social media create an opportunity for us. In particular, patients and physicians have already moved to social media. The pharma companies and hospitals are playing a little bit of catch up, and that's where we fill in the gap. And finally, I'd say COVID's moved us to a virtual world, and we've seen this trend accelerate.
David, you mentioned before that who are some of your clients and what are the typical services you provide for them?
We work with approximately 70 brands across 20 clients. We currently work with some of the top pharma companies such as Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Bristol Myers Squibb, and AbbVie. Hospitals is a new segment for us where we count Mount Sinai Medical Systems and Mass General, two of the largest and most innovative systems amongst our clients. Regarding our non-healthcare clients, we have American Express, who we've been working with for 14 years, and Federal Express, who we've been working with for nearly 7 years.
That's great. Why do these companies work with LiveWorld? What do you offer that other firms don't?
Well, first, there's our solutions mix. And to further answer your question about what we offer them, it's a mixture of creative, which you would think of as the strategy and creative and management of digital marketing campaigns. Moderation, which is a combination of our human agents and the technology we have to manage user content and conversations in social media. Part of that, which is really important for pharma, is managing the FDA regulations regarding adverse events, which is just a must-have for pharma companies, and also engaging with our clients' customers for marketing, customer service, and healthcare reasons. Last, we build technology platforms that enrich the customer experience, more interactive, things like that, and scale all of it. And each of these areas is very powerful on their own, but when we integrate them, that's more powerful. And this is the first element of what's really different versus other companies, that we have this solution mix creative, moderation, and technology is very unique. We know of no other agency that is capable of providing all three of those, and in the combination we do. The second differentiator is our deep, deep DNA in social media. We're actually the longest standing company in the world that's social media related from when we started it 26 years ago. Not only does this enable us to create and manage very high quality, very valuable programs of social media, but it gives us a unique perspective on how emotions drive behavior change, which is what our clients want. They want to sell something, they want to position themselves, they got to get patients or doctors or consumers to behave differently, which is driven by emotions. And this lets us implement the strategies and programs for them very well. Then each of the solution areas has a bunch of differentiators. That's kind of too detailed to go into now, but in each of creative, moderation, technology, it's things we do that others don't, or we do them better. And then last, we're a small agency. We're not one of these giant conglomerates. So we're faster, we're more flexible, we're more out of the box, and without all the overhead of these big giant companies, we're more cost effective. And a lot of corporate clients are looking for that now.
Can you share with us maybe a sample client and what have you've done for them over the years?
Yeah, let's take AbbVie, a big pharmaceutical company. Their blockbuster drug is Humira, which is like $20 billion or something, and they have a whole bunch of other ones. We began with them about 7 years ago, working on one or two brands, providing our moderation services and technology, the main focus being adverse events. And it's important to remember, you can't be a pharma company or any other kind of company without being in social media today. But if you're a pharma company, you're regulated, and the FDA requires you to report and track adverse events. And that's where we come in, and we have services technology that really helps for that. So we started with that. Over time, that work expanded to multiple other brands and a bunch more social media pages, with each one pretty much having their own contract SOW. They're all under a master services agreement, but we have a dozen, 24 different contracts within AbbVie that are separate pieces of business. And they just expand because we do it, we become the default provider. Then they add more kinds of moderation, including more engagement to help the patients with their healthcare journeys. Then AbbVie acquires a whole nother company. We picked up that too. Then we started doing our creative and digital agency work, strategy, insight, and campaigns for a few of these brands. In those cases, we're effectively now the agency of record for social media. So it began with adverse events moderation for a few brands and a few pages, and expanded to many. And we upsold our different types of services and technology and more parts of the company. And it went from one group and a few $100,000 a year to well over 15 brands and millions of dollars a year.
Can you discuss, you mentioned technology, can you discuss the types of data that is gathered from your technology and how you can use that data or use it currently and possibly monetize it?
Well, we collect a lot of data, but it depends on the type of program, of course. When you look at it overall, we're always collecting, organizing, tagging, and analyzing comments and conversations and other kinds of data from social media, who the users are, what they're saying, patterns, and things like that. In our digital campaigns, we collect all kinds of KPIs from impression to engagement. In some of our programs, we have quizzes and surveys that collect more information, either to be an experience to drive the kind of behavior and emotions, or to actually create profiles of people for targeting. And first, we use this to measure programs, then to reveal insights for our clients about their customers, subject interest, what they like, they don't like, trends, early crisis alert. We have a crisis today as a company, it's usually a social media crisis. And in our model, we're able to detect those early by collecting data and looking at everything, which can make a big difference, and then track what's happening as the crisis unfolds, and we're doing social crisis management. So we do all that. Some of that is just the basic differentiation, and it helps us win business. But we also have revenue programs associated with it that are specifically, here's a project that we're getting paid for, which is specifically to collect data or track what people are doing or kind of predict what's going to happen or alert crises, things like that. And then within all that, we have layers of reports Some of the reports are included in the basic program and some are premium add-ons.
Can you share how you attract new clients? I know you mentioned before about, there's mergers and acquisitions and such, but also how long is the sales cycle? And once, customers are on board, how long do they usually stay and how large can they really become?
Well, the main way our industry and our company gets new clients is through word of mouth and referrals and events that either we put on, an event like this, luncheon that we put on for, say, farmer people in New Jersey or something, or industry events we participate in. And then we also do targeted content marketing in social media and digital venues. Winning awards, which we do, is important because that helps spur the word of mouth. Our challenge and opportunity is not everybody knows about us. So as we're kind of emerging more now and building awareness, we expect to get a lot more business. The sales cycle is kind of a tricky question. This can really vary anywhere from a few weeks to a couple of years. It might be a prospect that attends one of our events, but it's not till the following year that they have a budget or a program, or they're changing an agency, or they need to step up their social media or something like that. On the other hand, sometimes a company is starting in social media or expanding, and their moderation needs go way up real fast. Those people can come crashing through our doors and want us running like tomorrow if we can. Usually it's like 2 weeks if it's a rush. So it really varies. The way we generally think about it is 6 to 18 months, but it can really vary. Then the other element of all this is how long they stay. And client longevity, we think, really reflects on the value that LiveWorld delivers. We're in this to build long-term relationships, and we've done so. American Express has been a client for over 14 years. Pfizer and Zoetis, which are one of the largest pharmaceutical companies, largest animal drug company, we've had for over 10 years. 6 or 7 years for each of AbbVie, Bristol Myers, and FedEx. So, to build those relationships and have those people stay with us that long really reflects on the value we bring them and the quality of the account, service, and just the relationship. Another measure here is recurring revenue. Most of our revenue is annuity streams, or if not outright an annuity, it's a contract that just keeps repeating year to year. And the clients range anywhere from $50,000 a year, particularly at the beginning, to well over $2 million a year. Our bell curve, I think, is in the $500,000 to $1 million range. We've got more there than anywhere else. But realistically, as we grow the business and we build that long-term relationship, and we have multiple brands at a corporate client, it's reasonable for our Fortune 100 clients to get to several $100,000 to several $1 million a year each.
Marketing budgets are usually the first to get cut during slowdowns or recessions. Are you seeing that at all? And if not, why? And how recession resistant is your business?
Right. Right now, what we're seeing across our client base is stable budgets or slightly increasing budgets. Our business approach has always been to be aggressive on ideas and strategies while being conservative with our discipline and financial management. As such, I don't really see any company that's really recession-proof. However, with that said, I'd say we have some key strengths that enable us to manage through downturns. The reason marketing budgets are shifting to digital and social is because these are more effective and more cost-efficient ways to communicate with the end consumer. Right now, we're seeing marketing budgets grow, but when they cut back, it's not uncommon for monies to be shifted to digital and social and away from the traditional media spends. Today, these brands all need to be in social media, or they're simply not showing up to their end consumer. And healthcare market is growing. Healthcare doesn't go away because of a recession. Digital, social, and healthcare is a very good intersection, and that's where you're going to find LiveWorld. Also, going back to the disciplined financial management, we have a flexible cost base, we have cash on hand, and no debt.
Yeah, pivoting to the next question, you've done a tremendous job over the past few years to get the company to this point. It's no small feat given the pandemic. Can you spend a moment and discuss the financial highlights of the company?
Sure. Right now, I'd say the top line revenue went from 7.4 million to 8.6 million from 2019 to 2020. That's about a 16% growth rate. Then from 2020 to 2021, we grew at 18%, up to $10.1 million. In that 2019, we had a net loss of about $449,000, and we were able to turn that around into a profit of $366,000 in 2020. 2021, our net income grew to $796,000, more than doubling our profits. Our cash has grown from $730,000 at the end of 2019, almost to $3.6 million at the end of 2021. And again, we did this using no debt and cash flow positive from our operations.
So now that the company has gotten to this point, built a nice track record, what type of opportunity is here for LiveWorld? How should investors think about, how large your business can grow to, and how do you get there?
Sure. We see a significant opportunity over the long run on multiple levels. First, social media healthcare is only going to grow. This is due to the enormous size of the healthcare market combined with its fairly nascent position in social. Plus, social media itself is a significant growth path. So these combined give us all aspects of our business are poised to grow. Additionally, we developed long-term relationships with our clients. This is the basis for more and larger annuity streams. But the key thing we have to do is build our awareness for LiveWorld and our solutions. We're going to do this, but it's going to take a little bit of time. We grew our healthcare revenues from $1 million to nearly $9 million over the last few years. The marketing opportunity suggests we can do more than that moving forward. We've demonstrated the ability to grow clients from small projects worth tens of thousands of dollars into hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars of business per year. Again, we've got 70 brands that we're working with across 20 clients. Most of these all top Fortune 100 companies, but we can provide more to the brands with a wider range of our solutions. Most of the companies we're working with have quite a number of additional brands or other areas that we can go after. And this is just the 20 companies we're working with right now. So there's literally thousands of other companies we should be working with. Today, our business is mostly pharmaceutical companies, and we've just rolled out our focused efforts on hospitals. So we feel there's a great potential here as well. And beyond that, I would say medium and long term, we're looking at other verticals such as financial services, where we do have a strong track record historical.
What are some of the key accomplishments LiveWorld achieved in recent years that you're proud of and are important to share with investors?
Well, it always starts with delivering great value to our clients and see the business growing from that. We just have a relentless focus on value. Then providing a work environment and culture in which our people have a passion for the business and for each other. You have to have that, partly because it's the kind of company we want to be, but that drives everything. Now, that said, we made a conscious decision several years ago to double down on healthcare. And we've grown healthcare from 10% of our business to like 88%. As David said, it's gone from $1 million to $9 million. That's a pretty good accomplishment. We also made a conscious decision to expand to be a full service digital agency, bringing on digital creative teams and the rest of what you need to do that. And over the last 3 years, that part of our business has gone from very, very little to about $2 million a year. Then there's COVID. We got through COVID and we actually grew our revenue. That's in part our being at the intersection of digital, social, and healthcare, in part to this intersection of creative moderation technology. It's mostly due to having built a quality client base and really having an extraordinary team that has stuck with us for a number of years and is committed to seeing things through. And this may be interesting. We've been a virtual company pretty much for 20 years. So when COVID hit and everybody struggled with that, that was just normal for us. And we've been telling everybody it's more productive and you can innovate more. A lot of people didn't believe us, but now the studies show, we're right. So I think we're a leader on that. Last, as an accomplishment, we focused on healthcare in part because it's the business opportunity, everything David talked about. But we also did it because we knew that our solutions and our team could impact people's healthcare in various ways, not just in the last 7 years, but for 26 years. Our solutions and team have helped people with their healthcare journeys, sometimes being instrumental to them, sometimes saving lives. I mean, really, literally, we've saved lives. And there are very specific cases, just in the last few years, we've made a really big difference in people's lives. And as a team and a company, and if you're investors in our company, this is something we can all be really proud of.
Aside from quarterly press releases, what other news items can investors expect to see from LiveWorld? What metrics should they be focused on to know that you're on the right path?
Yeah, I'd say I think there are two key metrics people should be interested in regarding our business. The first being our healthcare related revenues and our ability to grow that. And secondarily would be our annuity revenues, as it creates a strong foundation for our business. Approximately 72% of our current revenues come from annual contracts. So I'd say that the healthcare related revenue growth and our ability to maintain that 70% of renewal rates of the annuities, those would be the two keys that I'd be focused on.
Anything else you want to say before we end the discussion?
First, thank you for your time. Thank you, Adam and Lytham, and thank you to all of you watching us and giving us your attention. Second, when you think about LiveWorld, we'd like you to consider that we are about value, which is probably the word I used most during all these questions. We've lasted when nobody else did because we deliver value to our clients, enough that they are willing to pay us more than it costs us to do the work. We're very proud of that. It seems obvious, but a lot of companies in digital and internet and social media, they can't say that. Second, we create a work environment that our employees value. And we do that, we do all that with the customers and the employees by having this deep commitment to value and a long-term view, whether it's innovating in our products or pivoting to changing market conditions, creating this work environment that has employees with us for 5, 10, even over 15 years. Sometimes this value comes quickly. Sometimes it takes longer. But we're committed, really committed to collaborating with our clients, our team, and shareholders to creating that value for all of us. And we've made a difference in that value and an impact on people's lives. That's what we want you to think of. And we hope you'll join us in doing so.
Peter, David, thank you very much for your time today. We greatly appreciate it. To anyone out there that has not already signed up for a one-on-one, again, please send me an email at lowensteiner@lythampartners.com or visit www.lythampartners.com/virtual and click the one-on-one meeting request button. Thanks again, Peter and David, and we hope everyone enjoys the rest of the conference. Thank you.